The log profile in front of us here now is it's a 8-inch super double round log profile. You can see that both sides of the log has a round profile to it. Very popular log style. Due to the round profile, when we set these logs on our snap line, we do need to use a framing square coming off the snap line to the inside surface of the log itself. This profile also will come with a board attached to the bottom side of it. That does need to be removed before the logs are set into place. That board's put back on there for shipping purposes to help or to prevent from destroying this tongue that is part of the sealing system on the first log course. So remove those boards, get your snap line onto the subfloor. Again, it's not a bad idea to trowel fit these logs into place. The details as far as where the log's positioned lengthwise is going to be shown on your blueprints. You can see Kevin's running a framing square up there to the innermost portion of this circular pattern that is milled out of the log that's going to receive the log coming the other direction. Also, the framing square stood up the way Kevin's doing now off that snap line is going to dictate where the inside surface of the log wall should be. The corner connection on this log profile is very critical. I'll turn it on over to Kevin and he can explain how that goes together.
In the corner connection, we'll get one strip of the 2-inch wide foam. When you place the foam into the corner, make sure the foam actually touches the subfloor or the course of logs directly underneath it.
Keep in mind there will be 2 beads of caulk on that subfloor.
Bring the foam up to the top of the log. You want to cut the foam off. There should be approximately a ½ an inch of foam sticking above the tongue when you're finished. Okay. There will also be a bead of caulk installed in the corner. Bead of caulk will go on the outside of the foam.
And make sure that's a heavy bead of caulk. Be very liberal with the caulk when you put it in this area. One of the things that we see regularly is people tend to put too small of a bead there. So put a good 1/4 inch or maybe even 3/8 or larger bead in that area.
Okay. The next log that will be installed, this was the female log, it was the first log we installed here. The male log, which we're going to install next, basically is just a smooth end. There is no notch on this profile. There is one thing that needs to be done before this male is installed. On your blueprints, there will be a detail that shows this corner connection. There's also a measurement on there, how far the male is recessed into the female. And that measurement is exactly 2½ inches. What you need to do is come in on the inside surface, just place a small mark right in the center of the profile. What that will tell you is if you have the log in too far or not far enough into the pocket.
Keep in mind that when this female notch is milled out of the log, it is deeper than this 2½ inches. That's done purposely. The idea there is to leave room in here for the gasket and also to give a space for that caulk to work the way it needs to caulk or work the way it needs to work in that joint. So be sure to put that reference point on the log and don't be tempted to just run the log all the way into the female joint. When you're laying these logs, also just a side note here, you'll notice on the tongue that the inside surface of the tongue does have a bevel cut on it. That's very important. The outside is square, the inside has a bevel on it. It's not a problem on the first course because of the notch on the bottom. You'll obviously be putting the logs on the way they should be. But when you get up to the second course and on up, it can happen where someone tries to put these logs on where actually the inside face is on the outside. So make sure that bevel is on the inside surface of the log as it's being applied.
When the male log is installed, you need to push it in far enough so your pencil point hits directly on the rounded innermost surface of the log. When that is at that point, the log can be lagged into position.
The sealing system on these logs is identical to the 6-inch D log. We have the gasket in the corner like Kevin mentioned, and then on top of the tongue we will be using the Butilog sealant tape as we showed you previously on the other log styles.